Brad.
Welcome everybody to Comedy on Tap. I'm your host, Mark Bonto. We're here for another 20 minutes, half hour of fun, and we've got a very, very funny and hilarious comic with us today, and we'll get to him in 1 second. Remember, just to let you know that we are obviously on your local cable channel, as well as streaming allpointstv.com. So we are all over the place. We're in several states, we're all over America, and nobody has ever been at one of your shows and you're all over the place now. But welcome.
People don't know who the hell I am.
Oh, they do. They'll know. In fact, I think he's got your name up right now. So let's all welcome. He does. So welcome to the show. Very funny man, Chris Dyke. Chris, welcome to Comedy on Tap.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
My shows are called The Funny Spot Stand Up, but this is Comedy on Tap. It's been so it's good to have you here.
Glad I could make it.
And you rode your bike in.
It didn't show that there was rain to be seen, and it's over 60 degrees. So
beautiful day to do it.
My bike. It was a long, lovely ride.
And you're from Muskegon, Michigan, right?
Yep. It's about 2 hours and 15 minutes away from here.
Yeah.
So.
And you look a little tired today.
A little tired. I guess I would say I kind of started a new relationship, and we spent the evening together last night drinking.
Well, all new relationships start with drinking.
Yeah, usually.
So now let's talk a little bit about your comedy career, how you got into it. Now you've been doing my shows for quite a while.
Yeah, I've been doing comedy a total of about 4 years. It was 4 years this past September.
Okay.
September 30th. I can't get that date out of my head. I've always been a lover of stand-up comedy. I got into George Carlin when I was about 14 years old. It was the first stand-up special I ever watched. Kind of matured into an adult watching his stand-up specials, so I kind of agree with more of his mindset and philosophy and views and things like that. But it got annoying to so many different women that I've dated throughout my life, and finally a girlfriend I was dating when I was down in Virginia, she's like, you should try open mic sometime. You're actually pretty funny. You're a smart aleck. You're pretty quick on your feet. And I was like, all right, I'll try it once. And so nervous, got super drunk, didn't use any of the jokes that I originally wrote.
Doesn't that always happen?
But it was fun, and I've been kind of hooked ever since. Life gets in the way sometimes, so that's why I kind of.
Well, I was going to say your comedy itself doesn't. You mentioned Carlin, but it's your comedy itself talks about relationships. Also,
I talk about my life. Like, if I can make it funny, regardless if it's like traumatic experience or you know. Just downright embarrassing or anything like that, I try to find the funny in it. Like, I have numerous different jokes. I talk about growing up poor and living with a messed up family, and my kid picking on me all the time for being single.
A lot of family stuff.
Yeah, a lot of family stuff. I make fun of the time I went to jail for domestic violence, of all things, which, yes, doesn't sound funny, but when I tell the story, it's absolutely hilarious.
I've seen this set more than a few times. So
yeah, it's just... I don't know. It's
you also the elephant in the room right now for the viewers is the name. You also do say a few things about your last name, Dyke.
It's kind of hard to, because a lot of people give me crap for it. It's easy to make fun of, but I mean, if I was fat, like most larger comedians, they make fun of their weight. Right. So I mean, it's what I have. It's what I have. It's what I'm going to use. Josh Blue, he's got cerebral palsy. He's a funny guy. His arms a little, I wouldn't call it deformed, but, you know, just it's in an awkward position. He makes fun of that all the time, calling it the Nike swoosh, you know. Like, we make fun of the certain things about us. Like, if I didn't have the last name Dyke, I'd still have my ears to make fun of. So
right.
If I can make it funny and the crowd laughs, I don't really care.
What you do, though, you do say something about your ears, don't you?
Yeah. It works in succession. I always kind of have to warm up the crowd by making fun of myself first before we start delving into like bigger issues and making fun of my family and dumb decisions.
You got a lot of good material though. A lot of good material for 4 years, and it's coming along. Do you have more than one set?
Oh yeah, I shuffle in. A lot of people don't know this about me, regardless of how often they've seen me at like open mics and things like that, and performing a lot of the same jokes. So if you want to stay comfortable when you're on stage and stay confident in doing jokes that works, but there's not a single show that I do where I don't try at least one new joke.
Right.
It doesn't matter if I get asked to feature for like a headliner somewhere, or if I headline my own show, if I'm obviously hosting my weekly show, which you gotta be quick on your feet and come up with a lot of new stuff there. But yeah, I always try and work on at least one new
Yeah,
joke.
and I want to get to that in a little while as far as the show that you have in Muskegon that you host and put together. And I do want to ask you about that in a little bit because we had Tim here.
Tim Locke, he filled in for me. Really good guy.
Doesn't he usually? Isn't that a regular thing that he does at the Stray Cat?
If he's not usually hosting for me when I'm depressed and trying to write my life and things like that, when I take a step aside from comedy, he's usually trying to get on stage and things like that.
Yeah.
It's just Muskegon's closer for him because he's based out of Whitehall, which is about 15, 20 minutes north. So driving to Grand Rapids is a little bit of a drive. Where driving to Muskegon, it's fine. We're starting to get a little bit better crowd, unfortunately.
Well, I said we're going to talk about it later.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
I guess we're talking about it now.
We can talk about it now if you want.
It's called the Stray Cat Club in Muskegon.
Stray Cat Nightclub. It used to be called Moe's. It had a reputation of being the openly gay bar.
And that's true.
It's not that anymore. It's a nightclub. They have events and things like that all the time.
No, they have gay things, but not.
No, they don't. Not anymore.
I meant.
They did before. Yeah. We're meant to just stay happy there.
But you put that room together. Is that?
I actually took over. A lot of people don't know this. I took over. Very lovely lady, funny girl. Her name's Jessica Sudi. She was moving out of state, and we developed a relatively close relationship outside of comedy. She was really good friends with my soon-to-be ex-wife, and got together outside of shows, and she asked me to fill in every once in a while, and then she moved and said, well, I'll still book the show, you just go there and host.
Oh, wow.
I was like, okay. Wow. And then I just kind of took it completely over.
That helps. Well, I tell you, that helps. Take it from me. I run 6 monthly rooms, and booking it and getting things together is one of the
booking is booking is the reason why I don't want to run rooms. I hate booking.
All right, I want to get into a lot of stuff. First of all, though, I can't help but look at as you're sitting here to look at your new. It looks like a new tattoo. Can you show us the camera?
Yeah, I have a.
Is that a
tattoo on my
Halloween
hand.
thing? What is that? Is that
it was meant to.
It's a skull. You've got a skull in your hand.
Yeah. It was meant to cover up kind of a scar on my hand. And, my ex-wife's initials on my ring finger.
Oh, one of those things. Okay.
It was one of those defining, breaking out in my own independence after my marriage had kind of failed.
Right.
Everyone does their own thing. I have a friend of mine, Stephen Chris. He grew out his hair. My other buddy, Ricardo, who has done this, Stephen Chris has done this. He kind of branched out and started doing stand-up comedy when, he became single. Me, I love tattoos. This is, I just actually added another one on my arm and then another one here, so I'm at a total of 14.
Wow.
This actually got touched up, so it's about 8 months old. I love tattoos, and now it kind of forced me to. That's the elephant in the room too. Is when I have tattoos on my hand, I can't hide them anymore. I used to perform with long sleeve shirt, be proper. Everyone can pay attention to what I'm saying, not look at my ink. And now I can't hide it, so I always make fun of a quick joke. I have my mom's initials tattooed on my wrist.
Oh, there you go.
So my quick joke for that is, I was like, yeah, tattoos are great, and it also kind of helps show how unintelligent I am because I don't think things through because I got my mom's initials on the hand that I used to love myself.
14 tattoos though. I mean, I don't want to ask where all the other 13 are, but
all above my chest.
Well, cool. Yeah. Do you put anything in your sets about tattoos at all?
Other than that quick joke about the wrist tattoo,
not really
unfortunate thing that I do.
You mentioned George Carlin earlier. So who are some of your influences growing up, and some of the comics that you really like to watch?
Be honest with you, it was George Carlin.
Oh, really?
Down. I don't know how many times I'd get woken up in the middle of the night with my stepfather just yelling at me. Will you turn that crap off? He goes, I'm sick of going to use the bathroom at 3 o'clock in the morning and having people applaud and laugh at me the whole freaking time. I would fall asleep. I would listen to George Carlin pretty much all day. Every day. Fall asleep listening to it. Wake up listening to it. There was something about George Carlin I just absolutely loved and was drawn to him. And being 14 up until the point of being around 20, I branched out, obviously. I listened to so many different comedians. Christopher Titus, I love Christopher Titus. Bill Burr, he's amazing. Louis C.K., he's pretty well coming up. Of course, he idolized George Carlin as well. And then some of the older guys, Red Fox, Richard
Wow, see,
Pryor.
I wouldn't have guessed that about you.
Oh God, I love Red Fox. Just because he was so way out there back in the day.
Right.
They would even have signs like, "This is a triple X-rated show,"
Right.
things like that
Right.
back in the '70s when you couldn't say the kind of things he was saying. It's like,
Well,
this is hilarious.
That's really interesting coming from you. I wouldn't have thought that you knew that piece of comedy. That's great.
I love Red Fox.
And he was
Richard Pryor. He was. I mean, him and you always put them together. Richard Pryor, George Carlin, hands down. They came up right around the same time.
Right.
Pryor was a little bit more autobiographical. He liked to talk more about his life and things like that. But George Carlin, I don't know. It was
So a
just
fan of the old school comedy.
Awesome. I think Carlin appeals to me most is because he self-educated himself, self-taught himself, and that's pretty much where I've gone throughout my life, because I was always kind of hard on myself with thinking I was dumb most of the time, and I don't know much about this, so I must be stupid. And I was like, but I know a lot about this, and I know a lot about that, and that's what Carlin did. Is he eventually went after the things that he didn't know anything about and just started learning about it.
Yeah,
So it was really cool.
So you played that first room, switching up a little bit. You played that first room, the open mic. You had a good time at it.
Yeah.
You get back to Muskegon because that was in another state.
Yeah.
You get back to Muskegon and you say, "Let me check out these other rooms." Right.
I planned it ahead. I was doing very well for myself down in Virginia. Comedy wasn't even, on my mind. It was just going there to quit a drug addiction and alcohol addiction and, fix my life, so to speak. And did that very, very quickly. Had a very good life down there. Was making good money. And I was getting homesick. I have a daughter that was up here. I started dating somebody that lived up here.
Right.
And I was just weighing the checks and balances. I was like, well, I can come back up here, I can be with my girlfriend, I can see my family more. That's number one, is to be around my family, who are supportive. My daughter, I adore. And then I started looking at it, I was like, well, how often can I do comedy? I was like, I can get up like 3 or 4 times a week compared to the once or twice a month if I'm lucky.
Right.
That made my decision right away.
You started hitting them
I started going everywhere.
Hard and heavy. I know a few years ago when you were doing a lot of my rooms and stuff, and you had a hiatus for a minute there, but you were hitting like everywhere in the state and even
Ohio. I was going back and forth to Ohio, Indiana, up to Traverse City, Michigan, Kalamazoo, Battle Creek, anywhere I could go to get on some stage time.
How many shows did you do? The most you've done in 1 year? Even though you've only been doing it 4 years.
Honestly, I've never really kept track. I know there are some comedians that they hold a standard and a goal for like 200 and things like that, and that's amazing.
It is amazing
to me how they can do that. Unfortunately, with what I'm doing right now,
you're working though, right? You have full time.
Yeah, I'm working full time. I work 3 in the afternoon to 1:30 in the morning, so that limits me going to any open mics Monday through Thursday. It's just out of the question. But I stopped having fun with comedy. And I stopped doing it. I was unpleasant as a person, as a friend. My buddy Ricardo and Steven, they're one of my best friends, and they even said it too. And it's like, dude, you're not fun to be around. He goes, we have success, and you try and shun us down because you're not enjoying your life anymore. You're not enjoying comedy.
Those are good friends when they can tell you.
It's good when they can call you out. It's like, Chris, you're not having. Yeah, they're just like, Chris, you're not having fun anymore. When we first met you, we thought you were the standard to try and go after because you established yourself a little bit. You were more polished and things like that. Now, Steven and Ricardo are light years ahead of me just because of a failed marriage and toxic relationships and in and out of jobs and things like that.
This sounds like a TV movie. I see it in the making, Chris.
I was losing my focus, but I was just keeping it all serious. Right. So I still kept pursuing shows, but it's just like, this is my make or break show. This is my make or break show. Right, and I would have a bad set, and just my whole week would be just crap after that.
So you turned the corner now.
Yeah, I'm having fun.
Yeah,
everyone keeps saying I'm having fun now. I started going to therapy. I'm going through a divorce, which I'm staying level-headed with that. Me and my ex-wife.
A lot of jokes though. A lot of jokes.
Me and my ex-wife, we get along great. I just recently met somebody that started seeing too, so that's great. As I mentioned, I'm going to therapy and things like that. My life's turning around. And it's unfortunate that I'm 28 years old. I'm going through bankruptcy. I'm going through divorce. I just moved in with my dad. In comedy sense, I call myself a failure trifecta, but I'm happy. I know I'm gonna fix the things that are wrong in my life. I've done it before. It's nothing new to me. I'm just gonna be happy.
I can attest that your set is great. You've got great comedy behind you.
I'm having fun.
And you're getting more and more material from all these things that are happening in your life.
Yes. Oh God, yes.
So what makes a room fun for you when you go to a room?
Just the crowd. Just the crowd. I know one of the biggest appeals for being a comedian is finding another comedian that's on stage and he makes you laugh. Because you're going to remember that. Like, say one day, for instance.
Great point.
Yeah, one day, for instance, Christopher Titus actually mentioned this, and he's got a point, actually, because I saw it in my own self. If you enjoy some of these comedy, and they're really good, and you actually like get a chance to get to know them, they could eventually become, one, a good friend, hence Ricardo and Steven, and two, somebody that you'll always remember. Because I get asked to go and do certain shows just based off of people liking my sets, and like, hey, we need you to bring along another comedian. Oh, well, Ricardo, right away.
Right.
Or Steven, right away. And I was like, oh, they're always the first two that I ask, because I love their sets. They're friends of mine, but mainly because they love comedy. They have fun with it. Right. I have fun with it. When they're around, I have more fun with it, because it's like, it's kind of like getting your buddies together to watch the big game or something like that. You know, you just have fun, and that's what it is. We have fun the entire way to the show, at the show, on the way back from the show. It's just,
well, I've had them both on the show, and they're great. I've had them, of course, do stand up, and they're very funny guys. So is it true? You got the funnier people you hang out with, the funnier you become. Yeah,
and it's not even that too. Like, you find yourself just alone, hanging out with them. Like me, I don't know if I can say this on TV.
You can say whatever you want.
But me and Ricardo, we do some recreational activities together from time to time, and
that's what you were worried about.
Yeah. Okay. And we were doing it one night, and
Chris, we actually do recreational activities on the air, so don't worry. I'm kidding.
Awesome.
We've got this.
I gotta go get my trunk and my motorcycle.
I'm kidding.
In case there's cops watching.
Right. Yeah. Good point. No,
it's not orange. No. My motorcycle's not orange. But I was telling him how horrible this joke was that I put on an album that I did probably prematurely. I don't know if I was just tooting my own horn and I did an album way too soon.
Right.
But it was relatively good. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's laughs and things like that, but there's a joke on there that just didn't belong. It wasn't ready, wasn't done. I just wanted to fill more time. And with Ricardo, I wouldn't call it his help, but I told him the beginning of the joke and he laughed his butt off, and then I told him the rest of the joke, which is basically the other half, and he's just like, dude, that's not funny. And I was just like, exactly, I need to figure out how to make this funny. He goes, you don't. The joke is already done. Just eliminate all of that. So, being a friend, I trusted him. Used the joke one night, and it was hilarious. So now I use it that way every time. It's like, that's all it was. I just needed to condense the joke. But I needed somebody to tell me. Like, sometimes you don't catch it yourself. It's like, oh, I should drop this from the joke. Or, that's the good thing about having friends that also pursue the same craft.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Because there's so many different times we bounce ideas off of each other. Just the fact that I'm going to listen to him tell me the story of this joke as a comedy fan, not as friend, as a comedy fan. It's like, dude, that was funny. You might want to change this up, or you might want to...
Is that how you do it? Because a lot of times people will, like I know myself and a lot of comics they'll think of something funny or they'll experience something funny, then they go write it down. Sounds to me like instead of that, you kind of...
My cell phone, I have, what is it? I feel kind of guilty. I'm actually going to admit this. I have potential. I have great potential. I'm lazy, though. I have so many notes and audio notes on my cell phone, on my laptop, things like that. I have yet to go through them. I have 58 voice notes.
So
on my phone that I have yet to go through.
You do notate them on your phone, but you just don't.
I'll be at work. I'll be at work, and something will come up in my head. And I'll pull up my audio recorder and record it real quick and just completely forget about it.
Right. So you don't, so it sounds to me like you kind of voice your funny thoughts past your comics and also put
Yeah, I try and do that. I mention it to like family and friends sometimes. Like, what do you think of this? Or, what would you feel if I tried this?
Right.
Obviously with being married and like having stepkids and not my girlfriend that I'm seeing, it's like, hey, would you be okay if I said this? Because it's in regards to us.
Right.
Obviously it's like, I need your approval first. If you find it funny, then I'm using it. So that's usually how it works.
So what do you do like to get prepared for your set? Like, you say you're doing a show, you go to the room. Do you have a pre-show ritual? Have you already done that?
It sounds pretty stupid and petty, but we all have our own ritual. I listen to certain music that motivates me. Like, I don't know what this weird mixture is with me. I love heavy metal, but I also like my own forms of gangster rap, like Kevin Gates, so to speak. I listen to Machine Gun Kelly. I just watched an underground guy. His name is Hobson. Just this past week, puts on a great show. And the two artists that he brought with him were just as incredible. So now I got two more rappers to listen to. It's like, I'm supposed to be a heavy metal guy, and I like rap. But I listen to this music that will motivate me. It's something about like overcoming stuff or just being confident or believing in yourself. And it sounds kind of dumb, and I can't stand up and show, but I'll stand in place and just kind of like jump. Like I'll kind of like get my energy. It loosens me up because I've noticed.
That doesn't sound silly.
I've noticed that if I go on stage and I bring some enthusiasm with me, regardless of how this joke is written or anything like that, or how I'm going to present it, they can tell I'm into it and I'm having fun. Because you'll have your nights where you're just sitting there like a deer in the headlights, not moving, just holding on to the mic stand, and you just sit there. Like I talk with my hands a lot, obviously. That's what I'll do. But when I'm like ready to have fun and want to bring some high energy and say, this crowd needs some energy, I'm going to bring it to them. Like, I'll move around. We'll get the crowd involved. I start pointing at people and things like that.
So that helps.
Yeah, I'm going to...
Do you drink during or have any recreational activity during prior? Does that help you? Is that a hindrance?
It's a touchy subject for me because like I enjoy it both. I like to drink. I like to smoke, obviously.
He's talking about cigarettes.
Right.
Recreational cigarettes.
It's kind of like a ritual sometimes before a show, but in the same sense, I find myself, if I can perform sober, that's the best. Because performing high will give you a jaded mindset. Like, man, I was so loose, I was so relaxed, I was having so much fun, I gotta get high before every show. Yeah, but that's the thing, sometimes you forget how your set's supposed to go. Or you trail off and you keep talking about stupid stuff that you don't need to be talking about.
Right.
And then drinking, that's more of an emotion thing for me. One night I got some bad news about my grandmother and I had a couple drinks. And I broke that golden rule is what I call it. Is I told myself, don't drink before you get on stage because it's going to mess with your head. One or two, that's fine. It won't impair you. With my family history, one or two, they might let you into the family reunion as a prereq, but after that, once I start to get a little bit and feel it, a little intoxicated, just slightly inebriated, I'm just like,
well, one time before I went on, I got some terrible news about my rich 94-year-old grandfather. He was getting better. Not good news. Not good news. So it can kind of help you or kind of sway you another way.
That's awesome.
Kind of. Do you have any? We only got a few minutes left. Do you have any stories you want to? I guess every comedian's got stories. The road stories, behind the scenes stories, on stage. There it goes. Look at John in the control room. He just flipped out.
I had a very scary one. I'll admit I do not obey traffic laws when I ride my motorcycle. That's why.
That's why you got here. Yeah, no time to get here today.
I was going to say that's why it only took me an hour and 45 minutes to get here when it takes only like 2 hours and 15 minutes. But I was driving one night, and I'm not shy to it. Ricardo makes fun of me all the time, but I'm not shy to it. If I'm tired, I'll sleep. I'll pull over and sleep while I'm out on the road. Like if I'm 3 hours still away from home,
right,
I'll balance it out right to where I'll get enough sleep and I can go straight to work. Big deal. I'll take a shower when I get to work.
So you're coming home or are you going to a gig?
Coming home from a gig. One night I got stoned after a show and I kept the half a joint inside a cigarette box in the car. Pull into the Shell gas station. I'm really tired, which obviously the weed probably helped. And it's like midnight. I'd been up since 4 o'clock in the morning because I work, first shift all super early at this point.
Right.
Pull into the Shell gas station and I know from being out on the road, pull into a gas station to nap, as long as they're 24 hours, lights are on, all that stuff, you won't get bothered. They closed while I was asleep.
No.
And I get woken up by a state trooper.
Oh,
and
wow.
I was like, oh, shit. And I'm like coming to a little bit and it's just like taking a little nap. I go, yeah, I had this comedy show. I live 2 hours away. I'm really tired. And he goes, your vehicle smells like marijuana.
Whoa.
That's interesting.
Right.
But I know just with my family history and my background itself, if he were to look me up, it's best to just be nice and let him search my car. So he goes back to his cop car, and within that split second, and here's how professional I am with breaking the law because of my family's so messed up. Very, very carefully, I don't move much. I open up my little armrest, pull out the cigarette pack, pull out the half a joint, put it in my shoe, throw the cigarette box into what's basically my little mobile garbage can.
Wow.
I'm eating on the road all the time. I don't drive with a whole lot of people throughout my daily life because I work so much. there's trash all over my passenger floor. So I just throw the cigarette pack over there. And gets out of the car, pats me down and everything like that, and he stops at my ankles. And I just, whew. So
that's the noise he heard.
That was my phone, my alarm going off, making sure I was awake at 1:45 in the afternoon. He searched through my entire car.
That was a perfect sound effect for the story.
He goes,
I thought that was part of the story.
Yeah, he goes, is there anything I'm going to need to know before I search your car? And I go, no, but that cigarette pack is going to smell like weed. There's nothing in it, though.
Right. Oh, good.
He goes, okay. And then here comes another state trooper. And he goes, you look kind of cold. You want to go sit in the car? Yeah, no problem. So I was sitting in another state trooper's car with half a joint sitting in my shoe.
Wow.
Just chit-chatting about comedy because he said something about Laugh Fest.
See, it helps.
Yeah, I've done Laugh Fest before.
Wow.
Please don't arrest me.
So needless to say, you got out of it.
Yeah, I got out of it, and here's the worst part. I fell asleep with my heat on because it was rather chilly. I get away, and they're like, are you going to stay here and continue taking a nap? I go, with all due respect, I have some adrenaline pumping. I'm pretty well wide awake right now. So I was like, oh, I'll just leave. It's no big deal. And I start driving down the road. I'm going through this town. I take my shoe off, take the joint out. I was like, I need to smoke this. Take it up,
Wow.
Put it up to my mouth. I didn't put it in my mouth, and then I got a whiff of it because I must have sweat. With the heat on while the car was on. I was like, you know what? This ain't worth it. And I threw it out the window. I was like, woo, that thing stinks.
What a story. What a story. Wow. That's a good one.
I was more upset. Like, I got away with it, but I ruined my weed in the process.
Chris, I appreciate you coming here. How can people, what do you got coming up? How can people get a hold of you?
Oh, goodness. I have a show coming up. I think it's November 19th in Gaylord. I think that's a Saturday.
You want to plug the venue?
I don't know the venue, to be honest with you.
Okay. Well, no, you've got one in November with me.
Yep, I've got one in November with you. I don't have my schedule, so I'm very ill prepared right now about this. Okay. I'll tell you what. For those of you watching, I run a comedy page. It's comedy night at Stray Cat. It keeps you informed of the Stray Cat nightclub show. And also I have my own page. It's very easy to remember because it's my last name. It's called That Funny Dyke on Facebook, Twitter,
there you go.
Instagram.
That works.
It's the same name for all of them. I usually stay on Facebook a little bit more than Twitter. Instagram, I try and post funny pictures when I can, but Facebook's usually my outlet with social media marketing and things like that, promotion.
Well, look them up and check out the comedy of the all-encompassing
Also.
Yeah.
If you guys want to check out the album, I would really appreciate it. It's on Spotify, it's on Pandora, anywhere you can try and download it as well. iTunes.
What album? You have an album?
Yep, it's called.
Where is that in my notes? Oh, before you go, everybody who comes on Comedy on Tap gets a free copy of Flint Comics because. It's a free copy because it's free.
Nice.
I write for that.
Jim Brewer.
Yeah,
awesome. Interviewed and cartooned.
Everything about the comedy.
The album.
Go ahead.
The album is Chris Dyke, Domestic Violence: A Love Story. It's a weird title, but it goes along with the story that I mentioned before about getting arrested.
Well, check that out. That'll be fun. Chris,
you can't miss it. It's me with a little teddy bear looking all happy and in love, kneeling on one knee, and a woman swinging a baseball bat at me.
Chris, I appreciate you coming by Comedy on Tap. Thanks so much. If you want to check him out, go to Chris Dyke and the
That Funny Dyke.
There you go. That Funny Dyke, and he's hilarious. Thanks for joining us this week here on Comedy on Tap. Join us every week right here on this station. My name is Mark Bonto. Everybody have a funny night. Good night, everybody.
Take care.
All right. Now,